Shanti Durga Stava, page 118, Sanskritam. Shrimachankaravamabhagavilasad Balendu Chudam Shivam Kalpantanalakopatapashamanim Ananda Chandrodayam Shyamam Kamakala Vinoda Vibhavam Adyam Kalarupini Veena Vadya Vichakshanam Bhagavati Ide Jaganmohini Sangopanga Shadanga Veda Viditam Alpaksha Sancharini Chiddhamagra Guha Prachara Rasikam Adhyatma Vidya Kritim Antarmanasamantanena Janitam Ide Chidushmantari Ekam Chandra Chuda Hridaye Rajamanam Shivam Bhumyadyashta Sakhi Vilola Rasabhrud Rasam Ramavallabham Bahyalokana Tatpareshu Vilasat Karmadipashatrayam Yogenantara Bhumika Suvikasat Kanchinmayukhavalim Bhaktyaradhitamanasantaracharim Ekam Parakhyam Bhaje Droni Bhuta Shruti Prabhantaracharim Ekaksharartham Maha Vani Bhuta Vishaladhama Vikasad Hrimkara Mantratmikam Mauni Bhuta Maha Mahesha Hridaye Maunopadeshankitam Vani Vakya Vilakshanam Atimaha Vakyartharupam Bhaje Nilagriva Hridangamanjashayanim Anandashringarinim Madhvipana Mahavilasarasane Rasapradam Yoginim Brahmanandarasanubhuti Vigalat Kanchidrasardrapagam Nityolasakalayamanalaharim Ishardhadeham Bhaje Sallapena Sada Hridatma Ramanam Adyopadishtarthagam Sallabhena Sada Hridantaramanim Ekatma Yoga Sthitam Chillabhadrita Bodha Bhanu Kiranam Ekanta Hritpadmagam Mallabham Shiva Nirvritartha Vibhavam Ide Mahavaibhavam Sadyo Jata Samadhi Jata Laharim Adyam Chidanandajam Satyarthantara Drishta Deshika Gira Jajvalyamanam Dhiyam Sambudhyatmani Rudha Yoga Jabalat सम्पश्यमानां भजे शान्त्या युक्तभवान्तरान्तरचरीम् अस्मज्जगन्नायकीम् स्वात्मानन्दपदप्रकाशतिमिर प्रध्वंसकं यन्मः श्रौतीमस्तकभक्तिभावितमः सिन्दूरवृत्ताङ्कितम् वन्दे मातरहर्निशं तव चलत्पादाब्जजातं रजः भक्तिं देहि महाविलासरसिके श्रीमच्छिवालिङ्गिते श्रीमच्छङ्करदेशिकार्चितपदे श्रीचित्प्रभामण्डले विश्वाचार्यमहानुभावरमण प्रोक्तात्मविद्यामयी तद्दासार्चितग्राममध्यविलसत् श्रीचक्रमध्यस्थिते त्वामीडेऽहमनन्तबोधसुखदे श्रीशान्तिदुर्गाम्बिके त्वामीडेऽहमनन्तबोधसुखदे श्रीशान्तिदुर्गाम्बिके Arunachala Ramanashtakam, page 97. Arunachala Karunamaya Girirupaka Guruna Hridi Bodhita Madhuna Mama Mritina Shakavayuna Vatuna Vatatatavasaka Muninayaka Vibhuna रमणाभिधमहसा मम फलितं जनिरधुना वटुना वटतटवासकमुनिनायक विभुना रमणाभिधमहसा मम फलितं जनिरधुना करपङ्कजसरसाश्रितजलकुण्डिकयतये शठबालकमलिनीकृतकुपटावृतकटये हृदि भास्वरनिगमान्तजफलदायक गुरवे शरणागतिरधुना कुरु यदि संसृतितितृषा हृदि भास्वरनिगमान्तजफलदायक गुरवे शरणागतिरधुना कुरु यदि संसृतितितृषा ममतापह मधुना कुरु रमण त्वयि तिष्ठति करुणात्मनि कथमीदृशमशुचं कलये तव चरणाविह कुरु संसृतितरणं निजबोधकनिलयं मम हृदयं शिव शिव भो कलये तव चरणाविह कुरु संसृतितरणं निजबोधकनिलयं मम हृदयं शिव शिव भो दयिता मम दुहिता मम जननी मम जनको त्वयि कल्पितमरुभूगतजलमित्यपि कलये शिवमेव हि त्रिदयस्थितमहमेव हि परमं जनिनाशकशरणं तव चरणाविह रमण शिवमेव हि त्रिदयस्थितमहमेव हि परमं जनिनाशकशरणं तव चरणाविह रमण कथमात्मनिलयमेष्यति हृदयं मम वद भो गुरुरूपकसमये भव वद मे शिवमधुना मम मा कुरु जनिरीदृशमतिकल्मषभरितं मम बोधय तव चिन्मयनिगमामृतजलजं मम मा कुरु जनिरीदृशमतिकल्मषभरितं मम बोधय तव चिन्मयनिगमामृतजलजं सुखचिन्मयविगतद्वयपरव्योमनिनिलयं दिश मे हर मम कल्पितविकलात्मनि विहृतिम् अरणं मम मृतिमोचकनिजबोधकवचनं दिश मे शिवरमणाश्रमहृदयस्थितपरमा अरणं मम मृतिमोचकनिजबोधकवचनं दिश मे शिवरमणाश्रमहृदयस्थितपरमा अपसर्पति निजसप्ततिरथ गच्छति फलितम् अरुणाचलनयमे भवसुखराशिषु विरतिं कथमात्मनि दृढभूमिकनिलयं रतिरसुषु तरुणारुणकरुणां कुरु हृदि बोधय निगमं कथमात्मनि दृढभूमिकनिलयं रतिरसुषु तरुणारुणकरुणां कुरु हृदि बोधय निगमम् श्रुतिमस्तकवचसा मम विगतिं हर कृपया करुणां कुरु भवतारणकुशलं वद भगवन् निजवर्त्मनि स्वगतिं दिश निगमान्तजनिलय कलये शिवपदमेव हि परिपूरितसुखदं निजवर्त्मनि स्वगतिं दिश निगमान्तजनिलय कलये शिवपदमेव हि देहम् उल्लङ्घ्य सर्वविषयान् अधिराजमानम् उत्सृष्टदेहमतिमात्मनिरूढयोगम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये चिन्मात्रतां हृदि ददत्करुणार्द्रदृष्ट्या राजन्तमात्मनि सदा निजबोधरूपे कौपीनमात्रदधतं च चिदम्बरस्थम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये चिद्रूपवीक्षणचणं हृदये रमन्तम् आमीलिताक्षमनिमेषसमाधिनिष्ठं मञ्चासनस्थमतिमानुषमीशरूपम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये सत्सङ्गतिं सदनुगेषु च मित्रभावं भक्तिं च बोधधिषणाद्यगदं ददानं संसाररोगविनिवारणवैद्यनाथम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये कोऽहं विचारनिशितायुधदण्डपाणिं नाहं शरीरकुलिशायुधमीशसूनुं सोऽहं प्रकाशकिरणावलिचण्डभानुम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये निर्मूल्य सर्वविषयान् अरुणाद्रिशृङ्गे राजन्तमात्मनि सदा सहजे समाधौ वेदान्तवाक्यरसरूपिणमप्रमेयम् आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये आनन्दमात्मरमणं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्री रमण देशिक दशकम पेज 92 एकमेव हृदि संततं सकलनामरूपगुणवर्जितं भावहीनमिममद्भुतं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् सत्त्वबुद्धिफलदायकं सकलचित्तमोहभवनाशकं ज्ञानबोधकरमीश्वरं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् कोऽहमित्थमिह सन्ततं निशितचित्तमूलपरिमार्गितं संविदेकरसरूपिणं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् वेदसारपरिमार्गितं सकलयोगिचित्तसुमपूजितं तत्त्वरूपमयि भासते मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् चित्तशान्तिदमदायकं झटिति चात्मतत्त्वरसबोधकम् ईशरूपमयि भासते मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् पञ्चकोशपरिवेष्टितं विषयपञ्चसर्पविषभेषजम् पञ्चबाणबलनाशकं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् तत्सदेव भुवि साम्प्रतं रुचिरमर्त्यरूपमयि धारयन् दृश्यते सकलयोगिनां मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् मौनतत्त्वरसबोधकं रहसि मोदमानवपुषं परम् मानरोषरिपुदाहकं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् काव्यकण्ठकविसूरिणा स्तुतिभिरीशसूनुरिति घोषितम् शोणशैलतटवासिनं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् भासते हृदयमण्डले महितबोधभानुरिह साम्प्रतम् मोहरूपघनमार्जकं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् मोहरूपघनमार्जकं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकं मनसि भावये रमणदेशिकम् Prakaara Ramanesha Panchakam, page 91. प्रशान्तगम्भीरनिजस्वभावम् प्रकृष्टकल्याणगुणप्रचारम् प्रबोधयं तं श्रुतिवाक्यसारम् प्रभाकरं तं रमणेशमीडे प्रचण्डमायाकृतकालहीनं प्रकृष्टसर्वात्मरसप्रदानं प्रतिष्ठितं तं निजरूपभावे प्रमोदवन्तं रमणेशमीडे प्रबोधचन्द्रोदयहेतुमेकं प्रभासमानं चितिभानुमन्तं प्रकृष्टभासा कमनीयकान्तिं प्रमेयशून्यं रमणेशमीडे प्रकृष्टकारुण्यचिदात्मशक्त्या प्रसारयन्तं प्रकृते प्रभावं प्रलोभदूरं परिपूर्णकामं प्रशस्तमेकं रमणेशमीडे प्रदीपमेकं रमणेशमीडे
Ellovarkum namaskaram. A very good evening to all of you here. This is another provision for this year 2025 by Acharya at our request. It's kind of him to have accepted our request and then decided to speak on a very interesting topic a topic which is quite away from the normal Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, which I'm sure all of you will appreciate as you go through this for the next 3 evenings. There will be a question answer session on Saturday morning. He has consented to do that. But my request would be that those of you who have questions, please write that in a piece of paper with your name on it, and we will keep a box here tomorrow so that you can deposit that. These questions will be given to him, and we will request him to choose whatever he thinks is fit enough to be dealt with, and then he will deal with it accordingly. That will be on this Saturday morning session between 8 and 9. Post this program, there will be a prasad distribution, which all of you may kindly collect before you leave these places. We have made enough effort to make people aware of these kind of programs that are happening here. And I'm sure in the next 2 days, I would see much more encouragement from public at large, particularly a place like Jayanagar and JP Nagar, which has a large number of quote-unquote intellectuals. I would have expected a lot of them to be here, many more to be here. But I was telling somebody just now that Bengaluru has this culture of last 10 minutes. So suddenly you will find a host of people walking in the last 10 minutes. So that's what is happening. So once again, thank you very much for being here, and look forward to your cooperation in the next 2-3 days. Thank you very much. Guru Bhyarma.
नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः हरिः ओम् उपासकानां यदुपासनीयम् उपात्तवासं वटशाखिमूले तद्धाम दाक्षिण्यजुषा स्वमूर्त्याम् जागर्तु चित्ते मम बोधरूपम् अद्राक्षमक्षीणदयानिधानम् आचार्यम् आद्यं वटमूलभागे मौनेन मन्दस्मितभूषितेन महर्षिलोकस्य तमोनुदन्तम् विद्राविताशेषतमोगणेन मुद्राविशेषेण मुहुर्मुनीनां निरस्यमायां दयया विधत्ते देवो महान् तत्त्वमसीति बोधम् ममाद्यदेवो वटमूलवासी कृपाविशेषात् कृतसन्निधानः ओंकाररूपाम् उपदिश्य विद्याम् आविद्यगध्वान्तमपाकरोतु सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् सदाशिवसमुद्भूतशुद्धज्ञानैकरूपिणीं रमणाचार्यसम्पूर्णां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तम् गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां Soham spurtitaya Arunachala Shivah Purno Vibhati Swayam Yontaf Pravishya Mama Vachamimam Prasuptam Sanjeevayatyakila Shaktidhara Swadhamnam Anyam Shahasta Charana Shravanatvagadim Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. From today onwards, we have to listen with a meditative mind on Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi's one of the most profound work, Upadesha. There are 40 verses. In Sanskritam it is Saddarshanam. The original is in Tamil. The 40 verses in Tamil. Ulladu is the name of the work. The very name of the Kriti is Ulladu. Ulladu means reality, truth. And Narpadu. Narpadu verses, 40 verses. So Ulladu Narpadu is not the name, Ulladu is the name. That which exists, existence, reality. You may call it God or Brahma or Atma, whatever. So, before we enter into the work, anyway we are mostly we will be meditating on the first two verses, very important verses. Before we enter into it, we have to have a brief forward, preface for that. This is a pure Vedantic work. It's pure Vedanta jnana. Or put it in a very simple way, it is Atma Vidya, self-knowledge. The knowledge of the Atman, our real self, real nature, our Swarupa, Swaswarupa. So this is the cream, the essence. This is the essence of all the Upanishads. The knowledge of our own real nature. Why should we have that? Why are we seeking it? One person asked Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, in a kind of challenging tone, he asked, all of you, these sages and saints, you have no work other than telling people, do spiritual practice or inquire. Why should I do that? Bhagavan Maharshi said, who asked you to do that? I didn't ask you. You have come all the way. Where are you coming from? He was coming from some distant place. So you have come all the way here to ask me why I should inquire? I have not called you. I have not invited you. So you have to answer. This quest has to come from within. If it has not come from within, it will not stay. In general Vedanta, there is a saying, how should be a seeker, a mumukshu? See, the person should be a mumukshu, a seeker of freedom. Moksham ichuhu. Moksheksha should be there, mumuksha. And what is that? If that is not there, and also desirelessness, not having unnecessary distractions in the world, which we call vairagyam. Mumukshutvam and vairagyam, if these two are not there, even if the person looks very calm, people will say, why not? He is not spiritual, but very calm person, very good person. Shankaracharya says, his goodness or calmness is like water seen in a mirage. It is only an appearance, bhana matrata. Vairagyam cha mumukshutvam, where there is no vairagya or no mumukshuta, tivram yatra na vidyate, shamadehe malau salilavat tatra shamadehe bhanamatrata. This is Shankaracharya says in Viveka Chudamani. Marau salilavat, marubhumi, desert, salilam, water. Water seen in a desert means what they call mirage. From distance you see water, you run and go there, no water. Water is there from where you started running. You have to run back. So the entire life is like that. So the mumukshutvam, the thirst for freedom combined with dispassion. It should, an example they give, it is like there is fire in your head. Pradipta shiraha. When your head is blazing with fire, you will not wait till the lecture is over. You will run in search of water. Like that, when you feel the suffering due to ignorance, you come to realize that the only way you can come out of this suffering is by true knowledge, atmajnanam. Nothing else can quench that thirst. Nothing else can heal your mind. Then the person becomes a true mumukshu, seeker of freedom. But the question will come naturally. Those who know Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's life, they will ask, Maharshi was not seeking. He was not consciously seeking any truth, Atma, Brahma, nothing. His life is a mystery. In his own life, you see, he was just interested in playing, not even in the school also. No studies. In such a state, yesterday we were talking on Arunachala Ashtakam in Tamil, where Maharshi has given his biography. Glorifying Arunachala, he says this hill, which looks like boulder and rocks, like an inert mountain. Oh, you don't know the power of the hill. Arivaru giriyana amartarum amma. Atishayam idan shayal. It is a wonder of all wonders. You do not know how it affects the heart of a seeker, how it kindles spiritual quest, how it makes a person a yogi. Atishayamidan shayal arivaridarkum. Arivaru shiruvayadadu mudal. When I was only a small boy, in my heart there was a great dream. Dream about eternity. It was as if he was pregnant with enlightenment. It needed a touch only to deliver. So inwardly, I had a conception, a feeling that Arunachala is something inconceivable, ineffable, something beyond everything. And then one day one person came and told him, where are you coming from? He asked, Arunachalam. He said, I am coming from Arunachala. Arunachala? Can a person go to Arunachala and come back with the body? It is like a salt doll coming to you and telling you, I have taken dip in every ocean. Samudra After doing Samudra Snanam, nobody will believe because it will melt there. So this person comes and tells that I am coming from Arunachala. He could not believe. Then he said, Adu Thiruvannamalai oruvaral arivura petrum. Then I came to know, it is Thiruvannamalai. Oh, it is a district. I know that. That place I know. Arivinai marulurut. Bhagavan says, the real meaning of Arunachala he was yet to know. Later on he recognizes it. Arunachala is a name for Atma. Later on he defines Arunachalam means Tattvamasi. That is what the meaning he gives to it. Aruna means Tattvamasi. Achalam means Prajnana Ghanam. That is the meaning that he gives. So if I would have realized that, I would have sat there in Madurai. So Arivinai Marulurut, the divine plan was, for the time being, a blanket of ignorance was put over me, so that I can be pulled to Thiruvannamalai. But when I came here and looked at the hill, I saw the hill, then the question arose, who is the seer? Who saw the hill? Kandavan yavanana karuttinul nada, Kandavan indrida nindrathu kandeen. Then I saw, I could not claim I am the seer. The I vanished. And there was only Mounam, like Dakshinamurti. Bhagavan Maharshi says, this is the teaching of Arunachala, Mounam. To teach Mounam, you should not go on talking blah blah blah, as we are doing. Keep a mic and talk about Mounam. Bhagavan said, the best way to propagate Mounam is to abide in Mounam. So Arunachala was teaching Mounam, emanating Mounam. விண்டிடாது உன்னிலை விளக்கிட என்றே விண்டலம் அச்சலமா விளங்கிட நின்றாய். Without uttering a single word, to invoke the inner knowledge about the self through Mounam, you are here shining forth as this still mountain. So that stillness, Nischala Tattvam. Shankaracharya also told Nischala Tattvam. Where did he say that? Bhaja Govindam. Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischala Tattvam, Nischala Tattve Jivan Mukti. Very beautiful. First you should have Satsangatva. Satsangatva means you listen to Vedanta, you contemplate, do mananam, then slowly you become detached in the world, nisanga. Then the jnanam becomes perfect, clear. All delusion vanishes, disappears, nirmoha. Then you know, moha means what? Delusion means what? Something else exists other than Atma. Something exists other than the self. This is delusion. This delusion is removed, then the mind no more exists. Nischala Tattvam. And one who has recognized that Nischala Tattvam, the true stillness, such a one is a liberated one, is a Jivan Mukta, is a liberated being. So this is the essence where one goes from, if you get a true Satsanga, you should attain Jivan Mukti. And Jivan Mukti also is not something that you are going to achieve, it is your real state. It is the very nature of the Atma. The very nature of Atma is Mukti. When ignorance is removed, avidya is removed, you recognize that you are always free, eternally free, ever liberated. No bondage at all. Jñāte tattve saṃsāraḥ. Where does it come? See, Bhaja Govindam is enough. Only small work. Jñāte tattve saṃsāraḥ. In our ashram, Osur, we installed a Shankaracharya's Pratima there, all blessed and given by Sringeri Acharya. So, when that Shankaracharya's Murti was kept, there was a discussion, what should we write below? Suddenly these words came, jñāte tattve saṃsāraḥ. When you have tattva jnana, no samsara. When you know your real nature, yourself, no more suffering due to ajnana, due to ignorance. You are a Jivan Mukta. The person is a liberated one. So this is the goal of Satsanga. You get Satsanga. Satsanga is a magic, a miracle. In Bhagavata, Krishna says to Uddhava, Uddhava asks Krishna, how will one attain that spiritual state, enlightenment? What sadhana I should do? Then Krishna gave a big elaboration of yoga sadhana, yogacharya. Then Uddhava said, oh Krishna, I am already old, more than 100 years. How can I do yoga sadhana? It is not possible. It is very difficult. Besides, I have seen so many yogis still doing sadhana and still complaining. Same story. We also know so many people meditating for 30 years and again see how to control the mind. One guru in Rishikesh, one Swami, he had a disciple. Every time he will ask question. So this person was into spiritual life for last 30, 40 years. And one day the Swami said, you can ask question generally. And this person, he said, Maharaj, how to control the mind? He asked. You know what that Swami did? He gave a slap. He said, if a beginner asked this question, I would have answered. 40 years of sadhana, study, and like a fool you are standing here and asking this question. And the beauty of this is, the questioner is not interested in the answer. He just asks the question and you have to talk, he will go and sit there. So the real thing is, there Bhagavan tells Uddhava, shall I tell you a very, very simple way? Uddhava said, Bhagavan, you could have told it in the beginning itself. No, only after telling very difficult paths, only at last one should tell the easiest way. Because people have this preconception that spiritual life is difficult. So you should tell them, do yoga sadhana from Mooladhara to Sahasrara, the Shakti has to go like a serpent. Do pranayama. So after everything, the last Upadesha, what is the Upadesha? Chumma iru. Be still. Oh, you could have told that Upadesha in the beginning, it will not work. After doing all sadhana, in Bhagavata also there is a big elaboration on sadhana. And then last, Kapila Bhagavan says, Tushnim bhaved nija sukhanubhavo niriha. Let the person abide in absolute quietude, enjoying nija sukhanubhavaha, experiencing his own real nature, taking delight in his Atma, absolutely desireless, free. This is told as the last Upadesha. So, here Bhagavan is telling Uddhava, the easiest way is Satsanga. Satsangena iva hi daiteyaha, yatudhanaha, mrigaha, khagaha, gandharva, apsarasaha, nagaha, siddhaha, charana, guhyakaha, vidyadharaha, manushyeshu, striyaha, shudraha, antyajaha. A big list. Krishna puts a big list. All of them got liberated, attained jnanam easily through satsanga. Because satsanga means you get the sannidhi of a Mahapurusha, a jnani, and from him you listen to this knowledge, the real nature, Atma Jnana, your Swaswarupa Jnana. That's all. So for this only, so many went in search of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. It was a wonder. His teacher was a hill and he taught him how to be still like a hill. And Bhagavan attained that state. One devotee, Muruganar, told that even Arunachala, the hill, was ashamed seeing his stillness. Amma atishayam achalavum nana chumma irundador swarupam. Achalavum nana. Achalam means the hill. Even the hill, nana means hill became ashamed. I am not still like that. Because the stillness is the stillness of the Atma, not the Shariram, not the body or mind. It is the real stillness comes when the person realizes that his very nature is still. Atma is achalam. That is Nischala Tattvam. After recognizing that the body can work in the world, Chalachala niketasya yatir yadrichiko bhaved. As the saying goes, the yati is always moving, but is always established in stillness. Outwardly his body is in movement, chala, but inwardly is achala. He is established in the still abode. His body is constantly working. So a jnani does not mean that he should sit in a cave always. No. You can realize the self and be as you are. Somebody asked Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, can a grihastha, a householder, realize the self? Bhagavan said, the self is here and now. It is always shining forth within you. Whether the person is a grihastha or a brahmachari or a sannyasi, he can realize it. What is needed is just turn inward and know, ask yourself, what is your real nature? Kim swarupam iti atma darshane avyaya bhava purna chit sukham. You ask, what is my real nature? Who am I? This only what Maharshi did. Now I have not forgotten the beginning where we said you need what do you need? Vairagya and mumukshutvam, and longing for liberation and the understanding about sorrow, misery of ignorance. That is real Vairagya. If that is not there, spiritual quest will not be sincere. See, people come to spiritual life for many reasons. Nowadays, everyone is an actor in YouTube, including me. So, everyone appears there. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, go into the eye tube. There is a tube inside you where the eye arises. Search, it's like a tube, no? Bhagavata says that Brahma inquired, who am I? And entered into a tube-like thing inside. Bisatantu, like the lotus stalk. Like that. He entered inside. So you have to enter into that eye tube. Instead of that, you go into the YouTube. The YouTube is darkness. Eye tube is light. This is Brahma Sutram. Shankaracharya says, Yushmat asmat pratyaya gocharayoho vishaya vishayinoho tamah prakashavad viruddha swabhavayoho. The you is darkness. The I is light. In a dark room you sit. You cannot see. I is always aware. Light. In a dark room also you don't need any light to recognize your existence. So your existence is Swayam Prakasha. It is self-effulgent. So that self-effulgent truth is shining forth in your heart as Aham, Aham, I. But it is utterly simple. Is it not? Very, very simple. Vaikuntham means nobody has till today come back and told us. Kailasam, nobody has told us. Only you have to have faith in the Purana, Shastra, then only it will work. Swarga, Naraga, everything like that. Punarjanma, everything like that. Even God, Ishvara. Why people are saying we are atheists? Because God is not visible. But nobody says, I don't believe in my existence. Because I know I am. So this I am is self-evident. It needs no authority from outside, no scripture, no teacher. So it is utterly simple. Even though it is utterly simple, available, why we don't turn our attention towards that? This is the question of a spiritual seeker. Even after understanding, clarity. Why am I not able to turn inward and stay, abide in that state? What am I lacking? Have you ever asked this question? What is not there in me that I am not able to really meditate? Meditation in the sense, I am telling about Atmanishtha. Turning the mind towards one's own real nature. Why am I not able to do it? Any answer? You are going to ask question, I am also asking question. What do you feel? Huh? Huh? Yes, that all can be right. But there is one great reason. See, if I have to move this thing from here, I have to put a force. Right? If I have to take this book, I have to use a force. When I am looking outside, it is called chitta vikshepa. The mind jumps out of the senses, through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose. And it is natural. It is genetic problem. Right? And we train our children to do that. Kill, 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 kill. Do something. And ask the child, where is your eye? It will touch here. First it will touch in the nose. Then no, in the eye. Then ears. Then, oh, ella theriyirde. You know everything. That is sarvajna. Because you know the eye, nose, ears, everything. So thus, our entire training is to turn the mind outward. Paranchi khani vyatrinat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati antaratman. The Kathopanishad says, Swayambhu or Brahma or Creator, someone, some force has turned the senses outward and thus has made the spiritual life fail, self-defeating. The energy is all running outward. It is all energy, Constantly look at the mobile, energy is all gone. Constantly listen to somebody talking, energy is gone. You smell, taste, energy is gone. You will become tired. That is why you have to close all these apertures and sleep. Then you become rejuvenated. So the energy goes out, spills out, scattered, and you are drained. Vyatranat. The Upanishad says that Bhagavan simply made the case irreparable by putting it extroverted. Kashid dhiraha pratyagatmanamaikshad. The Shruti says here, a wise person, a brave person, a courageous one, turned the mind inward and realized the Pratyagatma, his Swarupa, Avritta Chakshuhu. He says the senses are all turned inward. Eyes are turned inward, ears are turned inward. How to do that? You have to simply turn the mind inward, which we call antarmukha. Where does it come? Yes. Antarmukha samaradhya means this anubhuti comes when the mind is introverted. Bahirmukha sudurlabha. Durlabha means very difficult to get. Sudurlabha means impossible to get. When the mind is extroverted, spills out, its a strange energy you need for something. A divine energy is needed. Prana Shakti, Chit Shakti is needed for the mind to go to the heart. Ramana Bhagavan calls it heart. The mind turns to the antarmukha, hridaya mukham. For the mind to turn towards the heart, it needs an energy which is not the energy available in the world. Right? All the forces in the world are there to make your mind spill out. Jada Shakti. Where does it come? Lalita Sahasranam. Jada Shakti, Jadatmika. You know what does this Jada Shakti do? It pulls your mind outward and makes you identify with Jadam, with matter. Jadikritam. The person becomes insensitive, inert. That is what the mobile, all these things are doing. Constantly pulling you out, you identify with that, you become drained out, your energy to meditate is gone. One more shloka I will tell here, as Shankaracharya says in Viveka Chudamani. Bahye niruddhe manasah prasannata. When will the mind become prasanna, pleasant? Bahye niruddhe, when the outward going is stopped. When extroversion is stopped, the mind gains prasannata, a kind of tranquility arises in the mind when you no more allow the mind to get extroverted, scattered, vikshipta. Manaf prasade, when the mind is sufficiently calm, shanta, paramatma darshanam. You need not do anything. Let the mind turn inward and become quiet. It will behold Paramatma. Because Paramatma is here in the heart. Always shining as our own real nature. Prakriti Vikriti Binnaha Shuddha Bodha Swabhavaha Sadasadidam Ashesham Bhasayan Nirvishesha Vilasati Paramatma Jagradadishvavastasu Aham Ahamiti Sakshat Sakshi Rupena Buddhehe. This is also Viveka Chudamani. Very beautiful verses are there. Paramatma is shining inside as Aham Ahamiti Sakshat Sakshi Rupena Buddhehe. Even as the Sakshi to Buddhi, as the illumining consciousness within, Paramatma is shining as Aham Aham, as I. But why am I not able to behold it? Because the mind is outward turned. Bahirmukha. So first thing is you stop this outer distraction. Then the mind becomes sufficiently inward. Tasmin sudrishte bhavabandhanashaha. When the person perfectly beholds, recognizes the Atma, samsara bandha is broken. Means what? Misery comes to an end. Tasmin sudrishte bhavabandhanashaha. So, Bahir nirodha padavi vimuktehe. The first step to liberation is this stopping of this extroversion. All these are told now. Now the question is how to stop this extroversion and how to pull the mind inward. In Sanskritam we have two words, akarshana and vikarshana. Akarshana means attraction. Vikarshana means repulsion. But what we need is neither akarshana nor vikarshana. We need a third force. It is sankarshana. No, even Sri Rudram, we chant Sri Rudram. Sankarshanamurti Swarupo Yosavadityah Paramapurusha Yesha Rudro Devata. He's a Sankarshanamurti. He makes the mind go to the heart, pulls the mind inward. In Vaishnava Sampradaya also there is Sankarshana. So Sankarshana means the mind is taken inward to the center, from the orbit to the center, from the distracting circumference to the still, quiet, tranquil center. So this is the, now the question is how to gain that antarmukhata. This antarmukhata is possible, as we said, we need a force to push the book, to wake up, to walk. So too, you need a force to push your mind deep into the heart. That force you will not get from books, you will not get from internet, you will not get from anything other than true, original, genuine satsanga. No other way. All other things our Akhilandeshwari will give you. You know Akhilandeshwari? AI. Everything you can get there. Upanishad you put, you will get. Veda you put, you will get. It will teach everything. Recently we were speaking, it will be a good teacher to even to teach Veda. It will not beat the student, get angry, no. Any times it will give you the teaching, the same teaching, till you perfect it. But personal touch will not be there. If studying is spirituality, soon artificial intelligence will replace a human teacher. If it is learning, computer, artificial intelligence will easily replace a human being. If it is outer achievement, it will replace everything. Even medically also it is becoming, taking charge. But for getting this antarmukhata, for pushing the mind inward, you need a blazing spiritual presence outside, which can push the mind inward, and from the center to recognize the true Guru within you, who will pull the mind inward to the source. Bhagavata puts it very beautifully. Acharya chaitya vapusha swagatim vyanakti. In Ekadasha Skanda it comes. Outwardly, that Bhagavan comes in the form of Acharya and pushes the mind inward. From inner heart, as Chaitanya, he swallows the mind. This Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has told very beautifully, many places he has told that the Guru from outside gives you a push, the Atma from within pulls the mind. So, what is that force which pushes the mind inward? It is Anugraha Shakti, Kripa Sakti. In Tamil we call it Arul. It is not something which is available in your educational institution, in your books, in your computer, nowhere. It is not available in creation, it is not available in sustenance, it is not available in destruction, it is not available in forgetfulness. Then what is it? Srishtikartri Brahmarupa, no. Goptri Govindarupini, no. Samharini Rudra Rupa, no. Then Tirodhanakari Ishwari, no. Then Sadashiva Anugrahata. That Anugraha Tattva, that Sadashiva Tattva, we call that Sadashiva Tattva as Arunachala. Arunachalam, Bhagavan Ramana called that Sadashiva Tattvam as Arunachala. That Sadashiva Tattvam gives anugraham. Anugraham means what? The mind is turned inward. The enquiry, Atma Vichara, Atma Dhyana is kindled in the heart, awakened in the heart. Without such a power, spiritual life becomes very, very insipid, dry. If you do not come in contact with this divine force, spiritual life is like any other academic study. You take notes, read, write, remember. And you are like any other person. You have clarity, you have more knowledge, you are like the computer, that's all. That tripti has not come. Vidyaranya says, what is jnanam? Tripti. Great contentment, deep fulfillment. That can come only when avritta chakshuhu amrtatvam icchan, when all the senses are withdrawn, turned inward, to know, to recognize, to become intimate with the center, the self, the Atma, Swarupam. That is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi calls as Atma Vicharam, Yogam. Yatra uparamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya. Yatra chaiva atmana atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Sukhamatyantikam yattad buddhigrahyam atindriyam. Vetti yatra na chaivayam sthitashalati tattvatah. Tam vidyad dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga samknitam. Sa nishayena yoktavyaha. Yogo anirvinna chetasa. Bhagavan says this is yoga which completely makes you free of all misery. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam. No more dukkha. Nishayena, you have to take a resolve to attain that yoga. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. If someone asks you what is the message of Bhagavad Gita, simply tell them Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. And yogi is not what this Hada yogi. Yogi means jnani only, Brahmanishta only. Atma samstham manah kirtva na kinchitapi chintaye. That is yoga. Turn the mind towards Atma, your swaswarupam, and abide there. Find the highest fulfillment in your real being, real nature. That is yoga. So that yoga, you need Kripa Sakti. And that Kripa Sakti made that boy Venkataraman, who was only 17 years old, in a trice he became Ramana Maharshi. And how is it possible that he attained it but we are not able to attain? In Brahma Sutra Bhashya, there is a sutra, Brahma Sutra. Avartihi asakrutupadeshad is a sutra, where Bhagavan Badarayana says, you have to again and again listen to the Upadesha, turn the mind inward, contemplate and realize. Even Tattvamasi Upadesha was given 9 times. So you have to again and again listen, contemplate and meditate. Then the Purva Paksha, the opponent or the doubting person is asking, why should you again and again listen? After all, the Atma is shining you. Guru tells you Tattvamasi. Realize it, one stroke over. Is it not enough? There Shankaracharya said, if the person is ripe enough to do that, that is good. Just listen once, you are a Jivan Mukta. Shushrushubihi takshanat. Bhagavata says, you listen one, that moment, sadyo hridya varudyate. Instantaneously in your heart, you realize Bhagavan. Possible. It is quite possible. Somebody is walking in the road, they listen, here some lecture is happening. What is it? They enter, listen, go out as a Jivan Mukta. We do not know. It is possible. Because the Atma is aparoksham. It is not like the worldly attainment. You need time, you need effort, no. All the hurdles, all the obstacles are due to our own imagination. No obstacles at all. Pradibandhan Virti takes all this time. So if the person is ripe enough to do that, well and good. But such people are very rare. Unfortunately. Because we have become so much skillful, experts in holding to Maya. All our educational system, all the books, all the teachers, all our inventions, discoveries are to keep the Maya undisturbed. Sureshwaracharya says, trying to balance the gooseberry. Keep the gooseberry on the nose and try to balance it. Let it not fall. What is this gooseberry? This Nellika, Amalaka? It is this life. You are trying to hold to this life with all effort. Still it will go. So better when you are alive, when you have energy, realize that you are deathless. That is what Ramana Maharshi did. One Sunday, no school. People in his house went somewhere outside. They said, Venkatarama, take care of the house. By the time they came back, he has demolished all the houses that can come in future and all the houses that he had in the past. You know what it is? That is what Buddha said. When he attained realization, he said, I have found out the housemaker. And now he cannot make more houses. I have destroyed all his raw material. That is, means no more new body. So when they came back to their house, the relatives, they found the person, Venkatraman, who was there, is no more there. It was like seeing jnānena ākāsha kalpena, as Gaudapadacharya says, it is Akasha in a human form. You see, Nataraja is dancing, but when you see Nataraja, it is Akasha dancing. How can Akasha dance? But that is what is happening. It is Akasha Lingam. Like that, when they came back, they saw Ramana Maharshi. It is not a person, it is Akasha. Dvipadam Varam. Suddenly he has become the most adorable being amongst all those who walk in two legs. Dvipadam Varam. What tapas he did? Who knows? He was lying down there and asking, oh, now the body is dead, the body will be taken to cremation ground, will be burnt. But am I dead when the body is dead? No. Who am I? I am not the body. And what is this I? It is Atma, Shuddha Chaitanya. Over. Woke up as Samadhi Parishuddhena Antaratmana. As Shankaracharya puts it in Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam, where he says, Samadhi Parishuddha Antaratma. He woke up after that exploration, absolutely purified by Samadhi. That Samadhi here means realization. Samadhi here means jnanam, not the yogic trance. I am deliberately using the word Samadhi because otherwise any other word will make you think that it is like any other knowledge. No. So samadhi parishuddhena antaratmana, that recognition of his real being was really complete paradigm shift. Ashariram svarupam. Maharshi Bhagavan told many times, I have not done any sadhana. People unnecessarily superimpose tapasya on me. When I stayed in the caves in the Arunachala, they said, oh, he was doing tapasya in caves. No, I was keeping quiet. That's all. Because there is nothing to achieve, nothing to attain. What was attained in that 15 minutes from Madurai was complete. Generally, we used to say, Madurai Meenakshi gave jnanam to Bhagavan, Arunachala got the name. Right in front of Sundareshwara Swami and Meenakshi, attained the highest jnanam. You go and see that house there, like any other ordinary house. Nothing like Buddha's Bodhi Vriksha and all, nothing. Bhagavan's entire life, the message is, jnanam is very simple. Ayye ati sulabham atmavittai. Noyartamakkum. He said, even for very ordinary people, a family man with all responsibilities, this jnanam is attainable. But you have to have that energy, that intensity to inquire. Where from that intensity come? It will come from Vairagya. And the collective force of Vairagya is death experience. Death means what? Everything becomes non-existent, including my own body. And that is Vairagyam. That is Samhara. That is Rudra's work, Shiva's work. You come to recognize that everything else is meaningless. As the Upanishad says, Mrityuhu dhavati panchamaha. Everywhere the death is prowling, moving about, running around. You see your life, everywhere there is suffering. Unless you wake up to reality, this suffering is there to catch hold of you. Martyo mrityu vyalabhitah palayan, as Bhagavata puts it. A martya, a mortal, is afraid of this serpent called mrityu. Bhagavata, there is the story is, the king will be bitten by a snake, Takshaka. And Takshaka is not a snake, it is death. In one form or the other. And death is not the last death. Anything that makes you suffer is death. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says your attachment is death. Because it makes you limited, suffer. Your ignorance is death. Anything that pulls you away from God, Atma, Jnanam, is death. Mrityoho Rupani. So you have to have this Mrityu experience, death experience. Not like Bhagavan. For Bhagavan it was like a miniature form, collective, so many janmas he has done sadhana. He had so much vairagyam inside him, it was not visible outside. Bhagavan, in many places, very often he has said, my sadhanas were all over in my last birth. That is why in this janma, I had just like a rocket I went. But don't expect that. You have to go to the right channel slowly, shanaihi uparamed. It is enough. Slowly understanding life around, because your life, everyone's prarabdha is different. So you cannot have any model. Jnanam is same for all. You want a torch, I can give you, but I cannot take you to your house. You have to go. You only know the way. But light is same. Jnanam is same. That is why beyond certain limit, don't expect any solution from any other person for your life problems. Life is meaningless. It is a riddle. It is Maya. Bhagavan Krishna says, Gahana karmano gatihi. Very inscrutable, deep, very difficult to resolve. One thing common is everyone suffers. There is suffering. And there is solution. And solution is what? Not in the world. Okay, if you believe there is solution in the world, try it. At last, you will realize that this solution is like patchwork, limited. Some patchwork I am doing. It is not the final solution. So the real solution is only when I know the kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. By knowing which everything else is known, by knowing which I will become free, by knowing which ananda I will find in myself, Shanti I will find in myself. That is why Buddha, he ran away. Because, see, we are not able to run away from our house where nothing exists. And in many places people say, one man said, I want to renounce. The problem is, I have no obstacle to renounce. And his wife said, ask him to take sannyasa. Already old, elderly. Even then the person is not ready. Because nothing to renounce, then also not ready to renounce. As Bhartrhari says, that great Yogeshwara, they all renounce and go to that higher realization, but we have nothing to renounce in the past or the present or future. Still, we are not able to give up our imaginary possessions, imaginary ideals. So, slowly, let the spiritual understanding blossom slowly. Let the understanding comes first that the realization, this jnanam, or you can simply say spiritual life, in whatever form. If not this, I will have some Bhagavata, Bhakti, Japam, Dhyanam, Puja, always taking the mind to a purer plane, higher realm. I will attend Satsanga, go to temples, some simple spiritual sadhana. Now rest of my life is only for that. You see, this decision is Kripa. This is Bhagavad Kripa. There was one Swami, a saintly person in our village. He was working in railways. When he retired, he was a design engineer. Many people told him, you can go now help in some other places. You will get more money than what you earned while you were working. Then he said, now I am not after cash, I am after ash. No more cash, only ash. Because you are going to become ash, before that you wear the ash. This is a message, You go to Shiva temple, if somebody says everything will end, so worship Shiva, you will feel like why this person is saying this. So better give them bhasma. Silent message. Silent message. Bhasmantakum shariram krato smara krutam smara, as the Shruti says. So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's life this jnanam, this death experience is collection of all sorrows. Don't mystify it. Don't think that by dying you will attain realization. No, you will attain realization only by vichara, not by dying. Death-like experience many people had, but they did not realize. So it is not through death experience. Actually, Bhagavan's death experience is not death experience. It is deathlessness experience. He experienced the deathless self. He found that death is impossible. One's real being is Amrita, deathless. Atma is Amrita. So that is the realization. So, Bhagavan's death experience. Maharshi Ramana's life, there is an incident in Madurai where he felt he is going to die, and that intense state of few minutes, he felt that the body is dead, and he inquired, who am I? And realized, I am the deathless Atma, Shuddha Chaitanya. This is how he became Ramana Maharshi. But that is not a magic. That is collective pain of innumerable births. So many births, that collective pain of innumerable births. In Thiruvachakam, Manikavachakar says, Pullagi, Pudai, Puluvai, Maramai. Like that, I went through many bodies, and what happened? Poi Tiruntu Meiyanar. He said, all the falsehood was washed clean. Through every experience, one by one, this falsehood, this flaws, poi, unreal, untruth was washed clean, and the May, the true, is already shining within. It just recognized, that's all. So in his life, you see the intense experience of Vairagya in few minutes. And his Viveka, Vairagya is helpful, but Jnanam comes by Viveka. So intense Vairagya gave him this death experience. You know, many people, when they have depression, some intense experience of depression, they will collapse. There are many instances where they have went through something like death. So when you have sorrow, all your nerves will break down. But in Bhagavan's case, he said, there was fear, but I was not afraid. This is a mysterious statement. He said, there was intense fear of death. And I was looking at that fear. And this is the collective end of all our achievements. That is what he saw. Mrityave swaha, mrityave swaha. As the Veda says, whatever you achieve, whatever you attain, everything will go and end there. So many big rulers, great rulers, everyone died. Death is laughing at our achievements. So in that few intense moments, that intense Vairagya, he inquired, who am I? For us, we need this Vairagya in the as the underground, where you know that Viveka means Nitya Vastu is Atma or Bhagavan. If you don't have this insight into Vedanta, you can say Bhakti. As Ramakrishna used to say, Bhagavan alone is real, everything is unreal. He used to repeat it many times, every day. Ishvara alone is real, everything is unreal. This, when the person realizes, it is Kripa, it is pure grace. When that happens, then the person gets sufficient energy to become antarmukha. In such a state, when the person comes in contact with an yogarudha purusha, like Bhagavan, a Jivan Mukta, then his mind is completely turns inward. As Shankaracharya puts it, pratyak pravaha. Like Ganga flowing towards ocean, like that the mind will turn inwards and incessantly flow towards one's real nature, pratyakatma, chaitanya. This is what happened in Ramana Maharshi's case. This will happen in our life also, but we have to go through the gradual process of viveka, cultivating viveka, vairagya, and withdrawing the mind inward and slowly taking it to the source, to the heart. And this Bhagavan Maharshi gave this method also. Ask yourself, who am I? You have asked many questions in the world. For the first time after so many births, you are going to ask this question, who am I? First time you understand that you do not know yourself. All these days you were thinking you know yourself. I am so and so. Now that is questioned. Who am I? I am not this body. Then what am I? When this question wakes up within, this question itself is absolute alertness, vigilance. Because this is a question about something very sure. I am here and I am turning my intellect towards my own existence and asking, what is this? Wondering about one's own existence. This is what in the very beginning the Creator did. You know that Bhagavata says, Brahma, when he came in the lotus, he asked, who am I? It is not Ramana Maharshi taught that. In the very beginning, Bhagavata says, Kayesha yosau aham abja prishtaha. I am sitting in this lotus, who am I? What is this I? And he asked, I, who am I? Who am I? And his name became Who. There is one disciple of Ramana Bhagavan, Lakshmana Sharma. He is actually very well known in another circle as the father of Indian naturopathy. And he was a great devotee of Bhagavan. He wrote commentary to Ulladu Narpadu. And when he took to Bhagavan, Bhagavan asked, Yaru ezhudina? And instead of putting his name Lakshmana Sharma as the commentator, he wrote Yar. Who? No name. Who? Like that Brahma got the name Who? Kaha. In the Vedas, you have so many mantras. Kasmai devaya havisha vidhema. Kaha means Brahma. In Sanskritam, Kaha means who. But here Kaha means Brahma's name. Because he asked Kaha, who am I? So this question, what is my real nature? Who am I? This turning inward and asking this question, looking, gazing at one's own inner throb as I. This is the initiation of Bhagavan. This magic happened in Bhagavan's presence very naturally to many. They will be just sitting in his presence because he was filled with that kind of energy. Ritam bhara tatra prajna. As Patanjali puts it in Yoga Sutra, in a yogi, his prajna, his intellect mind is filled with ritam, not thoughts, not emotions. It is filled with satyam. Ritam bhara tatra prajna. That experience, knowledge is not like anumana or shruti, shrauta jnana, simple outer jnana. Shrutanumanaabhyam anyat says. It is direct perception, anubhuti. And in that presence, the person gets initiated into this inquiry. Naturally, this inward looking, antarmukha sets in. This is anugraha, this is kripa. What is Guru Kripa? In the presence of Guru, Satsanga, the mind become antarmukha. That is Guru Kripa. Any sampradaya. If the Guru is teaching you Bhagavan Nama Japa, you go to that master. In that presence, the japa starts happening. That mantra dhvani, that spandana starts happening. This is antarmukha. You listen to Bhagavad Katha, then also antarmukha will come. You will go into that bhava sthiti. No more outer contact with the world. That is why satsangatve nissangatvam. You get a good satsanga, you naturally become nissanga in the world, because your mind is simply like churning and taking the curd. It is separated. Inwardly you are in a dhyana sthiti. It happens. This antarmukhata is Ishvara Kripa, it is Guru Kripa. Then it helps the person to go deeper to nididhyasanam. That is why without a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Acharya, nididhyasana will not happen. So nididhyasanam will lead the person to sakshatkara. So this happened in Maharshi's case without an outer guru, but we need this outer teaching, this contemplation, this inquiry into our own real nature and plunging deep into our heart till we become one with that achala tattvam, that Arunachala. So, this teaching Bhagavan mostly gave through Mounam, silence. And not only Mounam, he also gave teaching through words, so many written words. And his greatest work is this Ulladu Narpadu. We got this Ulladu Narpadu because of another disciple, a devotee, Muruganar. He extracted this from Bhagavan. He prayed to Bhagavan to write. And Bhagavan wrote, first he wrote some translations. Actually that comes behind as the Anubandham. Actually this Ulladu Narpadu and Anubandham is all spoken from Tiruvannamalai. It is all there in the YouTube. Then you can listen and go to iTube. It's all there. Ulladu Narpadu, Anubandham, it's all there. So, this Ulladu Narpadu Bhagavan wrote. Then the original shlokas he wrote, and they were translated to Sanskritam by Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni. Very beautiful Sanskrit. Sattattvasaram saralam dadhana mumukshulokaya mudam dadhana amanushashri ramaniya vani mayukha bittihi munivag vibhati. Is the last verse in Saddarshanam. The very verse is so mellifluous. Sattattvasaram saralam dadhana. The saram of Sattattva, existence, Atma Tattva. You know, Bhagavan has translated this Ulladu Narpadu to Malayalam. There Bhagavan gave the name Saddarshanam. So this name also was not simply given by Kavyakanta. Bhagavan himself gave the name Saddarshanam. And it was translated in Kilipata. Just like a parrot. Bhagavata Shukacharya says like that. This Jivan Mukta is a parrot. And this parrot is a strange parrot, unique parrot. As Bhagavan says, Sattinda Saram Kondu Santatam Matta Chitta Sattinda Saram Kondu Santatam Matta Chitta Tattayum Ittam Chollan Sadaram Arambichu. This Tatta means this parrot, Kili. Sattinde Saram Kondu, it has drunk deep this Anubhuti of Atma, Sattattvam. Matta Chitta Tatta, it is inundated by that experience. In that ecstasy, the parrot started singing this song of Saddarshanam. So this Saddarshanam, also very beautiful verses. Tamil we will chant, then we will go to Sanskrit and see. Ulladalad, ulla unar, ullado, ulla porul, ullalara, ullatte, ulladal, ullamenum, ulla porul, ullalavan, ullatte, ullapadi, ullade, ullal, unarvaye, ulle. Even a Tamil scholar will find it difficult. Because by language you cannot understand this. Because nothing is there in this song other than Ulladu. Almost 14 times or so it comes. I think so. 14 or 11 times. You can see it is written there. உள்ளதலது உள்ள உணர் உள்ளதோ உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலற உள்ளத்தே உள்ளதால் உள்ளமெனும் உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலவன் உள்ளத்தே உள்ளபடி உள்ளதே உள்ளல் உணர்வாயே உள்ளே. So this ulla. In Sanskritam you cannot translate it like that. It will not look good also. So sat pratyayah kimnu vihaya santam hridyesha chintarahito hridakhyah katham smaramastamameyamekam tasya smritihi tatra dridhaiva nishtha. This is the first verse of Saddarshanam, which we will see tomorrow evening. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, 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 Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvamevam tato na vachyam mama kinchidasti yatha taveshtam kurumam tathaiva tvam atmanatham ramanam bhajami. Tomorrow evening, same time 6:30. Day after tomorrow, Saturday morning, 10 o'clock we will have a session. It is actually not question answer session, it is only Saddarshanam. But the box, as he said, will be kept there. If some doubts are there, that can be put in that box. So if only about this sadhana, jnana, vicharam. So after that, evening we will start a little bit early last day, that we will announce tomorrow. This one more thing, Shruti Gita, the commentary on Bhagavatam, one of the most profound portion of Bhagavatam. The Vedas are doing stuti of Bhagavan. That portion, very profound portion. That Shruti Gita book, commentary on Shruti Gita was published long back, but it was out of print for many years. Now we have got it today, the new print, perhaps, I think it is available there. Shruti Gita book is available there.